Imagine for a moment you're standing at the edge of a calm, serene lake at dawn. The sky's painting a masterful piece of oranges and pink, kind of like God's canvas, reminding us of His presence. Now, let me tell you something beautiful, something powerful, right from the heart of God, your Abba Father. As the dawn's light reveals the beauty of creation, so too can we discover the light of faith amidst our fears. In this video, we'll uncover 5 grace insights to transform your fear into faith, diving deep into the unseen depths of our soul where fear resides and faith can flourish. The following truth is our anchor. You see, life's kind of like that lake at dawn, peaceful yet full of unseen depths. And just as the sunrise dispels the darkness, so does God's indwelling love illuminate our lives, driving away our fears and doubts. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind, as it says in 2 Timothy 1:7. But here's the thing, dear friend, we all face moments when challenges loom large, when doubts whisper in our ears. It's in these times that God, with His infinite love and grace, reassures us, hey, I've got you. God's message to us is clear. Bring everything to me first. He invites us to share our concerns, to seek His guidance, to listen for His voice, because in the end, He's not just our Father, He's our coach, our guide, and our biggest fan. Imagine facing your fears with God by your side, cheering you on. Suddenly, those fears start to diminish and your confidence grows. So, as we embark on this journey together, let's remember that with God, it's not about shouldering our burdens alone. It's about resting in His presence, embracing His grace, and moving forward with the confidence that comes from knowing we are deeply loved, not for what we do, but for who we are, His children. And that, my friend, is the heart of it all. You are loved, always and unconditionally, by your Abba Father. Let this assurance transform your life. So, are you ready to laugh in the face of fear, to dance in a rain of challenges, and to cry tears of joy in the embrace of your Father's love? Because that's the journey we're on. Hi, I am Bas Rijkse from GraceGaze.com. We're here to empower your faith journey with God's grace. This video is inspired by something very special, the daily love letters from Abba Father. These are divine whispers meant to uplift and deepen your faith each morning. In just 3 minutes, start your day with peace and a reminder of God's love. These letters are a journey to a deeper connection with God, ensuring your faith shines brighter with each new dawn. Eager to immerse yourself in His grace each day? Click the link below or head to gracegaze.com. Log into the members area and discover the love letters from Abba Father waiting for you. Grace insight number 1, unveiling the depth of fear. Let's gently delve into the realm of our fears and doubts. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a high dive at your local swimming pool, the big one, not the kiddie version. You're looking down into the water and it seems like it's miles away. Your heart's racing and your palms are sweaty, and it's a little voice in your head is saying, maybe we should just go and get a snack instead. That, my friends, is kind of like facing our fears and doubts head on. It's scary, it makes us feel vulnerable, and sometimes it's easier to think about retreating to something more comfortable, like snacks. But here's where it gets interesting. The Bible tells us in Psalm 34 verse 4, I sought the Lord and He answered me. He delivered me of all my fears. Notice that it doesn't say some fears or the easy ones. It says all. That's God's open invitation to bring our worries, our doubts, and yes, even our plans to avoid them right at His doorstep. Now, imagine those fears and doubts as a bunch of clutter in your living room. It's messy, it's in the way, and frankly, a little bit embarrassing when unexpected guests show up. God's approach? He walks in, rolls up His sleeves, and says, let's clean this up together. It's kind of like having the ultimate cleaning buddy, except this one can actually make the clutter disappear for good. But God doesn't just stop cleaning up. He goes a step further. He sits down, hands us a cup of heavenly brewed coffee, and says, let's talk about this. What's really going on? He reminds us that it's not just about facing our fears, but understanding them and learning from them and then handing them over to Him. It's a divine therapy session, and the best part, it's always free of charge. And here's where our mindset shifts from fear to faith. It's not about denying our fears or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them, bringing them to the light, and then saying, God, I trust you with this. It's like handing over the keys to a car that's been giving us trouble. We might love that car, but we know it's in better hands with the mechanic. So, as we navigate through our fears and doubts, let's remember that we're not alone. We have a God who is not only capable of handling our fears, but is eager to do so. He asks us to cast all our anxieties on Him because He cares for us. 1 Peter 5 verse 7. And when we do, we find that the high dive isn't so scary after all. In fact, with God by our side, we might just find ourselves doing a cannonball into the pool of His grace. And that, dear friend, is the moment we realize that our fears don't stand a chance against God's love. It's the aha moment, the punchline of our story, where we discover that with God, we can face anything. So, let's not let our fears dictate our lives. Instead, let's hand them over to the one who can turn them into the testimonies of faith, hope, and love. Now, who's ready to do a cannonball with me? Grace insight number 2, fortifying faith against fear. Now let's talk about the heavyweight match of the century. And I'm not referring to any boxing match you've seen on a pay-per-view. I'm talking about the showdown between the enemy's condemnation and God's unshakable strength. Imagine, if you will, the enemy as that annoying little bug that buzzes around your head on a peaceful summer evening. Annoying, persistent, and oh so hard to swat away. But here's where the game changes. Enter God's strength, the ultimate fly swatter. You see, the Bible tells us in Romans 8 verse 1, therefore there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. That's not just good news, that's great news. It's like finding out the annoying bug is banned from the summer evening festivities for good. The enemy tries to bring us down with guilt, shame, and fear, but God counters it with grace, love, and strength. It's a knockout punch every time. But God's strength isn't just about packing a punch, it's about providing a fortress. Think of it as the most secure, impenetrable castle known to man and angels. Psalm 46 verse 1 tells us, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. So, when the enemy's whispers start to sound like shouts, remember, you are living in God's castle, and the walls haven't been breached. Now let's talk about strategy, because every good showdown has one. The enemy's plan? Condemnation. He's like that coach who thinks the game is won by making the team feel as lousy about themselves as possible. God's strategy? Empowerment. He is the coach who's not only got the best game plan, but also knows how to make the team believe they are unstoppable. And with God, they are. But how do we tap into this strength? It's simpler than you might think. It's about shifting our focus. Instead of zeroing in on our failures or fears or I just can't do this moments, we zoom out. We take in the full picture of God's love, His grace, and His power. It's kind of like realizing that the puzzle piece that you have been trying to force into the wrong spot actually belongs to a much larger, more magnificent picture. The picture of your life, held and completed by God. And here's where the punchline lands. When we stand in God's strength, the enemy's condemnation doesn't stand a chance. It's like trying to take down a skyscraper with a pea shooter. Good luck with that. So next time you feel the weight of condemnation, remember you are backed by the strength of the Almighty. The same power that rose Jesus from the grave is on your team. So let's not just stand firm, let's dance in victory. Because with God, it's not just about winning the battle, it's about transforming the battlefield into a place of celebration where every step, every breath, every heartbeat sings of His strength and love. Now, who's ready to dance? Grace insight number 3, activating your spiritual GPS. Let's step into the most transformative spaces in our journey with God. Imagine, if you will, that God's presence within us is like the ultimate power source, kind of like having a supercharged battery that never runs out. This isn't just about asking God to step into our situations. No, it's about recognizing that He's already there, living within us, ready to live His life through us, as us. You see, the Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16, don't you know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? Now think about that for a second. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives in you and me. That's not just a power-up, that's a game changer. It's like realizing you've been playing the game of life with the cheat codes all along. Inviting God into our situations then becomes less about sending an SOS and more about acknowledging the constant presence of the Holy Spirit within us. It's about letting Him guide our thoughts, our actions, and our decisions. Kind of like you're trying to navigate a tricky level in a video game and you realize you've got a guide built right into the system, whispering the secrets to victory. Now here's where the humor comes in, because let's face it, sometimes we forget about this incredible power within us. It's like walking around with a flashlight in the dark, complaining about not being able to see, only to realize the flashlight has been turned off the whole time. God's gently reminding us, hey, I've given you the light, just flip the switch. And when we do, when we let God live His life through us, as us, it's like watching those scenes in movies where the hero finally unlocks their full potential. Suddenly, what seemed impossible becomes possible. Philippians 4 verse 13 takes on a whole new meaning. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. Not just some things, not just the easy stuff, but all things. So, inviting God into our situations means more than just a casual invitation. It's a daily, moment-by-moment decision to let His Spirit guide us. It's like being in a dance where God leads and we follow His steps. And the beauty of this dance? It's graceful, it's fluid, and it takes us to places where we never could have gone on our own. This is the wow moment, my friend, realizing that we're not alone, that we don't have to rely on our own strength, wisdom, or understanding. Instead, we have the Creator of the universe living inside us, eager to guide us, strengthen us, and love us through every challenge and victory. So, let's not just invite God into our situations. No, let's recognize His ongoing presence within us and allow Him to work through us. It's about surrendering the lead role into the story of the one who wrote it, knowing that with Him, the best is always yet to come. Now, who's ready to let God take the wheel and drive? Grace insight number 4, navigating life's road with divine wisdom. All right, friend, let's get down to the brass tasks of navigating life's journey, shall we? Guided by the ultimate navigator, Jesus, the living Word dwelling in us. Imagine you're about to embark on a road trip. You've got your snacks, your playlist is set, but then you realize you're not quite sure where you're going. That's where God steps in, not just as a go-pilot, but as the supreme navigator with the most extraordinary GPS known to humanity. His divine guidance emanating from within. Now, God's guidance isn't just your standard GPS that reroutes you the moment you make a wrong turn with that annoying recalculating voice. No, God's guidance is more like a gentle nudge, a soft whisper that says, trust me, I know the way. As it is written in Proverbs 3, 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, and in all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. That's your divine roadmap right there. But here's the kicker. God doesn't just give us the route, He walks it with us. It's kind of like having the best tour guide in the universe. He points out the signs along the way, He helps us navigate through the rough patches, and even enjoys the scenic routes with us. And when we face those inevitable roadblocks or detours, He's there, rerouting us, not with impatience, but with love, and wisdom. Now, let's talk about preparation. When God guides us, He's already equipped us. It's not like He's saying, good luck, figure it out. No, He's more like, hey, I've already provided everything you need for your journey, according to 2 Peter 1 verse 3, where it said that He has given us all things pertaining to life and godliness. So, you are fully equipped. Oh, and by the way, I'll be right there with you every step of the way. He reminds us of important points, kind of those key landmarks you look for so that you don't get lost. And when it comes to those meetings or confrontations we dread, God doesn't just send us blindly. He gives us insight into what's going on with the other person. It's almost like having insider information. But instead of using it for personal gain, we're guided to approach the situation with love and empathy. Because in the end, it's not about winning the argument, it's about reflecting God's love and truth. But here's the most comforting part. God takes responsibility for the results. He's like, you do your part and leave the rest up to me. It's incredibly freeing to know that we don't have to carry the weight of outcomes on our shoulders. Our job is to follow His lead, to do what is right and to trust Him with the results. It's kind of like baking a cake with the world's best pastry chef. You follow his instructions, but he's the one who makes sure it comes out perfect. So as we journey forward, let's remember that with God as our guide, the path may not be always easy, but it will always be right. And the beauty of this journey, it's not just about the destination, it's about recognizing and embracing that we are already made in His image every step we take. And that, my friend, is the ultimate destination worth traveling for. So buckle up, turn the music up, and let's enjoy this ride with God at the wheel, because with Him guiding us, it's not just a road trip, it's an adventure of a lifetime. Now, who's ready to hit the road? Before we delve into the final grace insight, here's a quick, powerful way to enrich your daily walk with God. Abba Father's daily love letters offer you hope, peace, and a moment of divine connection every morning. These aren't just emails, they are a 3-minute journey to deeper faith and joy directly from God's heart to yours. Want to start your day wrapped in His love? Head over to gracegaze.com and access the members area and let these letters transform your relationship with God. Now let's explore our last transformative insight. Grace insight number 5. Settling into God's eternal embrace. And now, dear friend, let's settle into the most comfortable, coziest armchair you can imagine. This isn't just any armchair, it's crafted by the master carpenter himself, God. It's placed in the warmest spot right by the fireplace of His love. Here, in this divine living room, we're invited to kick off our shoes, lean back, and just rest in the knowledge that we are deeply, unconditionally loved by Abba Father. Imagine, if you will, that each cushion of this heavenly armchair is stuffed with the softest, most comforting truths of God's Word. One cushion whispers, "You are cherished." Another murmurs, "You are forgiven." And yet another hums, "You are never alone." It's kind of like settling into a tensionable embrace from God Himself, reminding us that in His presence there's no need to strive, no need to prove anything. Just be. Resting in God's love is finding that sweet spot in bed where everything feels just right. The temperature, the softness of your pillow, the weight of your blanket. Except this rest isn't just for a night. It's eternal. It's that kind of rest that rejuvenates not just our bodies, but our souls, our spirits, and our hearts. And as we sit back, letting the warmth of the fire soothe any coldness left from life's battles, we're reminded of the simple yet profound truth. God's love for us isn't based on our accomplishments, our failures, or our ability to be perfect. It's based on who He is, and He is love. Now, don't get me wrong, resting in God's love doesn't mean we're on a permanent vacation exempt from life's challenges. It's more like being in the eye of the storm where peace prevails despite the chaos swirling around us. It's knowing that come what may, we're anchored, safe, and secure in Him. So as we go about our days, let's carry this picture with us. A divine armchair within our constant reach, symbolizing our ability to rest in God's unfailing love at any moment. And when the going gets tough and our feet get weary, let's remember that armchair, that fireplace, and most importantly, the open arms of our Father, waiting to give us the rest we so deeply crave. And just think, every time we rest in His love, it's like we're giving God a big old hug saying, I trust you, I love you, and I'm so grateful for this safe place you've given me. Now, isn't that the most beautiful exchange? So, my dear friend, let's not just walk or run into God's love, let's just rest in it, bask in it, and let it be the source of our strength, joy, and peace. Because in the end, resting in God's love is the best position to be in. Ready to take a seat? I invite you to continue this journey every day with the Abba Father's daily love letters. These messages of hope and peace are waiting to greet you each morning, offering divine whispers directly into your heart. To embrace this daily infusion of love, visit gracegaze.com and discover how these letters can transform your daily walk with God. Let's embrace His love together every day.